Anybody who claims anything, he will be faced by the younger generation of scholars, by his colleagues, by his peers, even by the public. قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. What is your evidence? So we do not have a hierarchy, we do not have Pope or something like that, So he has to provide the evidence of what he's saying from Quran, from Sunnah, from the consensus of the community, from the previous fatwas and precedences, and what is his basis of his rulings. He cannot just say, this is my saying and you have to take it on my word. Your word is worth nothing. If it is not backed by the evidence, your word. Even if it is the highest religious authority, and I'll give you a live example. The last Sheikh of Al-Azhar, rahimahullah ta'ala, a very dear teacher of mine, a very good scholar, a very pious man, a very revered man, and personally a very humble man. However, he had an opinion which he said that, depositing money with banks, conventional banks, and the banks guaranteeing the principal and a return, I view it as a mudaraba contract, and that this is permissible because the people now are not, honest and so on and so forth. So guaranteeing a certain principle is acceptable, and this is not riba. And when scholars discussed with him, they said, how do you agree that this is a mudaraba while the law says the banks are prohibited from trading, from dealing, from buying real estate or from doing? He said, really? The law says so? They said, yes, this is the law. However, he prohibited taking loans on interest. But these are the two sides of the coin. The bank is taking from people with a lower interest and granting loans with a higher interest. And this is the arbitrage which the banks are doing. Any case, the majority, I can tell you 99.5% of the Muslim scholars did not accept his opinion. And his view was null and void. Not even the scholars of his own university, Al-Azhar. So to this extent that it is not possible that somebody comes and brings something out of nowhere and says that this is acceptable and this is this and this is that, and you have to take my word for it. The current Mufti of Egypt, a very dear friend of mine and a teacher of mine and a very respected man and a scholar and worldwide, he has also a very strange view. He says that paper money, there is no interest in paper money. There is no riba, there is no usury because it is not gold and silver. This is a view that he holds, and he based it on some old understanding of copper money, which was a medium used sometimes over and above gold and silver. So nobody has accepted his view today. And even I asked him, I said, my dear teacher, my dear respected Mufti, when you go and you buy your clothes, do you pay with gold or silver or paper? When you go to a restaurant, do you pay with gold coin? Because if you pay with gold coin, the police is going to come and catch you. Because the restaurant owner, they don't want gold coin. They want the payment in credit card or cash. So this is his opinion. And he is the highest Mufti in Egypt today. But no scholar has accepted, the overwhelming consensus of scholars and the collective bodies like Majma' al-Fiqh, the Fiqh Academy of OIC, the Fiqh Academy of Rabita in Mecca. They have all rejected this view and they do not accept it. And even the overwhelming majority of the scholars in his country. I leave some space for my colleagues. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Building on the basis which Sheikh Nizam has explained, the process of appointing the Sharia and the need for the Sharia scholars and the Sharia committee, I would like to go on what steps are required by a Sharia board and how the interaction between the Sharia board and the rest of the management or the departments happens. So I have put them in 6 steps. Yeah, 6 steps are involved when formulating a Sharia compliant product. So first of all, when the business model is conceived, and the domain of business, what type of financial activities, what sector of financial activities any institution is going to be. Then at that level, the conceptualization of the product, the basic concept and business idea is also presented to the Shariah board also, that we wish to provide such and such services. So at the conceptual level, business model level, Shariah board should get involved in terms of the product offerings. This is one step. Then once it is said that, okay, this sector of service provision is Sharia compliant, then the detailed feature of that financial product is designed by the relevant departments, the structuring department, as we have seen this morning, that structuring of product is done by the product development department, and then the detailed structure is again presented to Shariah board, that this is the product and these are the features we want to offer it. So once that diagrammatic explanations, the whole structure, beginning and features of the product is decided, then it is the Sharia scholar or Sharia board will say that, okay, the structure is okay, then you need to prepare all the documentation, contracts, terms and conditions, and marketing, including the marketing documentation. So after the designing of the product detailed features, the documentation and marketing material is prepared. And once the documentation is scrutinized by the Sharia board, after the scrutinization of the features and marketing documentation, then a fatwa, an opinion is issued by the committee after agreeing unanimously or by majority decisions that a certificate of compliance is issued. Approval is granted. So this is the fourth stage. Then even after the fourth stage, after the approval is granted and then the product is floated in the market and is being sold, after some time, there is a periodic monitoring to be done by the Sharia members of Sharia board. And just not the monitoring, but an annual audit is due every year, and this is the responsibility of the Sharia board. So these are the 6 stages involved among the duties of the Sharia board in terms of getting involved in the offerings and in the detailed product specification, documentation, and then dissemination of the product, monitoring and auditing. So these are briefly the role of Sharia board in each and every product of any financial institution. Yes.
I've been advised in any conference not to stand too long between the audience and the conference in 2 situations. First, before lunch, and the second, at the end of the session. I try my best to make it short for that matter. I remember Sheikh Tontawi. Sheikh Tontawi, the one that has been mentioned by Sheikh Nizam, the Grand Sheikh al-Azhar, was my teacher. I learned from him in a group of 10 people. I learned from him tafsir. That time Azhar has a project in which they take what they call the 10 most brilliant students of all Institute of Azhar, and we learn from him from tafsir, from fiqh, from everybody, all those Azhar scholars. So one time he visited Malaysia that time. So I accepted in the airport, and on our way to the hotel, he asked me, Dr. Aznan, of course, he always call me by name. His son, he said, have you read my fatwa on banking? I said, yes. What you think? I was quiet. I said nothing. Ihtiraman lahu taman. He's my teacher. I said, I know you already. Anytime when I ask you something you don't like, you will keep quiet. From that, I can take it you are also against me. I said, I remind one situation I said. One time when Ibn Qayyim, he gave opinion against his teacher, Ibn Taymiyyah. And people asked him, don't you love Ibn Taymiyyah? He said, Shaykhul Islam muhibbun ila anfusina, walakin al-haq ahabbu ilayna minh. People asked Ibn Qayyim, one of the scholars that time, don't you love Ibn Taymiyyah, your teacher, and you go against him? I said, Shaykhul Islam, which is Ibn Taymiyyah, is so much to our heart, but the truth is nearer to our heart from him.